The network news, the corporate media, are based in New York City. All right, they have bureaus in Washington, but the heavyweights are here. The people who run the news agencies are here. They take their news from the New York Times and the Washington Post. All right, they don't come in every morning and say, oh, let's do this and that. They read those papers. Then they decide, because they're in awe still of those papers, both of which are no longer newspapers, they're left-wing journals. Okay, so some facts. The New York Times has not endorsed a Republican candidate since 1956, President Eisenhower. The Washington Post has never, ever endorsed a Republican candidate for president. Okay? According to a Gallup poll, 84% of Americans believe the news media bears responsibility for the partisan division in this country, and that's certainly true. All right? A Harvard poll finds that in the first 100 days of news coverage of President Trump, his first 100 days in office, 93% of NBC News' coverage was negative and CNN's coverage. 93%. So there you go. If you confront these people, these network people, with facts that you don't report the news objectively or fairly any longer, you were in business to destroy Trump, now you're in business to protect Biden, how can that possibly be fair? If you say that to them and back it with stats, like 93% of Trump's in his first 100 days was negative, and I think it's 65% of Biden's first days was positive, then they still deny it. Roll tape.
Where we did get lost in this, I would say, and this sort of happened to mainstream media in particular, is that we did let Republican critics get in our heads. The Republicans have been running on, there's a liberal bias in the media. And if you talk about if you say something long enough, there are liberals who say there's a liberal bias in the media when you see polling now.
Okay, so Chuck Todd, that's who that was. He has a fairly prominent position in NBC News. And I remember back to Tim Russert, who did Meet the Press, and I respected Russert. We had a pretty good relationship. And I compared him to Chuck Todd, and it's like, you know, comparing Mike Wallace to you name it today. All right? So Chuck Todd, he's not going to accept that there's liberal bias. He's what they call intellectually dishonest. He's simply not going to do it. It's like when you argue with somebody in your life, and no matter what you say to them, no matter how strong your argument is, no matter how much fact you back it up with, they're not going to cede it. To me, I don't even bother anymore with those kinds of people. Oh, that's Chuck Todd. Okay, so Todd says, hey, you know, there isn't any liberal bias. It's all a Republican thing, propaganda. Well, let's prove Todd wrong, and it's not hard to do. So the first thing is Russian collusion. Now, you remember that for the first, 2 years of the Trump administration, the corporate media was basically saying Donald Trump and his administration entered into a corrupt bargain with Putin and Russia to steal the election from Hillary Clinton. Okay? Roll the tape.
He never thought that he was going to win. And so the collusion wasn't so much about political ambition. It was about being bought and paid for and owned by the Russians.
We all know the president's no collusion, no obstruction mantra. We know it's false, but it bears repeating. The fact is, Robert Mueller did not say there was no collusion. He said there wasn't enough evidence.
Well, that's not true. The Mueller report concluded there was no collusion. That's in print. So both of those commentators, well paid, are basically comfortable with telling you a falsehood. And listen, I'm sorry to pick on them. I know them both. They're not bad people. I don't think. I could have done 50 others. So 2 years, and the press got it wrong across the board on Russian collusion, never an apology. Second one, Hunter Biden. Roll it.
This kid was paid $600,000 because his name is Biden by a gas company in Ukraine, this super corrupt country that just had a revolution to get rid of corruption. It just looks bad.
By the way, Bill,
If Don, it does sound like something Don Jr. would do. And if Don Jr. did it, it would be all Rachel Maddow was talking about.
Okay, so Hunter Biden, as you know, made millions of dollars with the help of his father, who was then vice president. There's no doubt about it. It's a fact. So foreign governments, China, Ukraine, the two top ones, but also Russia, paid Hunter Biden millions of dollars. Press wouldn't report it. Blacked it out. Not liberal bias? What is it? What is it? Chuck Todd. Third one, Wuhan lab. Go.
China's buying billions of dollars worth of our product, our farm product and other product, manufacturing product, and it's been a great deal. But then we noticed a virus, and it's not acceptable what happened. It came out of China.
Both scientists and the U.S. intelligence community agree that this coronavirus was not man-made. That is not a possibility. It came from a natural source. It didn't come from a lab. People have looked at the genes. The transmission was likely from animal to human. Even Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the president's coronavirus task force, said there is no scientific evidence the coronavirus was made in a Chinese lab.
Okay, did that guy apologize, this Hayes? All right, we just had an 84-page report come out of the House of Representatives. Yes, it was done by Republicans that said there was plenty of evidence to show that COVID was being manufactured, studied, researched, whatever word you want to use, inside that lab. Fellow Americans, I am concerned about the U.S. dollar. Huge debt, as you know. Will it stay as the world's reserve currency? That's why now more than ever, I recommend you diversify with gold and silver. And the only company I recommend, and have for years, is American Hartford Gold. I trust them. I've personally done business with them. They sell physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA. And they make it very easy. So call them right now. Make sure you tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Since I have been recommending American Hartford Gold, gold shot up more than 40%. Silver, more than 60%. So don't wait. Call them now. 866-501-5201. 866-501-5201. Or text Bill to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201. Or text Bill to 65532. Bill O'Reilly here. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you subscribe to the First TV YouTube page. Just hit the big red subscribe button below, and you'll get clips and highlights of my program, The No Spin News, every single day. We'll see you soon.